Hey there, and welcome. We're about to dive into the world of programming with Python. And the most important thing to get right from the very beginning is this. It's truly for everybody. Seriously, you do not need to be some kind of math genius or a computer whiz. This is all about learning a brand new way to talk to computers and, well, to create things.
So let's just start with a really big question. Right now, when you look at your phone or your laptop, do you think of yourself as a user of technology or as someone who could be a creator? Our whole goal here is to help you start making that incredible shift in your mindset.
So what is the difference, really? Well, think about it. As a user, you're kind of on the outside looking in. You're interacting with apps and websites that someone else built. But as a programmer, you get to go to the inside. You start building new things from the ground up, solving your own unique problems, and telling the computer exactly what you want it to do. It's a total game changer.
Okay, so here's our roadmap to get you there. We're going to start with the why, moving from user to creator. Then we'll take a little peek inside the machine itself. After that, we'll get friendly with the language of Python. And finally, the best part. We'll write our very first lines of code together.
So let's kick things off with that big why. Why should you make that jump from just using technology to actually creating it? What's the big idea here?
This quote from Dr. Chuck really nails it. A computer isn't smart on its own. It's this incredibly powerful tool that's just sitting there, constantly asking, okay, what's next? It's literally waiting for you to tell it what to do. Programming is just the language we use to finally give it those instructions and unlock all that amazing potential.
All right, so if we're going to be giving the computer instructions, it probably helps to know a little bit about what we're talking to, right? So let's pull back the curtain and take a quick look inside the machine.
Before we even get to computer programs, let's look at a program for a human. These are supposed to be instructions for a dance, but let's just say they're a little buggy. Take a good look. Can you see what's wrong with this program?
Now, as a person, you could probably figure out the typos, right? And you'd hopefully skip the more aggressive instructions. But for a computer, it's a totally different story.
And here is the single most important thing to understand. Computers are literal. Painfully literal. They have no idea what you meant to say. They only know what you actually typed. A typo isn't a small mistake to them. It's a totally different command. If you tell it to use your ham, it is not going to guess you meant hand. And that's why being precise is everything in programming.
So the part of the computer that keeps asking, what next, is this thing, the Central Processing Unit, or CPU. Think of it like the engine. It is ridiculously fast. It asks that question about 3 billion times a second. But, and this is key, it's not smart. It only does exactly what it's told. Nothing more, nothing less.
So where do all those instructions come from? Well, they live here, in the main memory, which you probably know as RAM. This is like a super fast temporary scratch pad that feeds instructions to the CPU. When you write a program, this is basically where your code hangs out while it's doing its thing.
But RAM is temporary. The second you turn the power off, poof, it's all gone. So for anything you actually want to keep, like your essays, your photos, and of course your Python programs, you need secondary storage. That's your hard drive or your SSD. Think of it as the computer's long-term memory.
When you put it all together, you get this constant, lightning-fast loop. It's like the heartbeat of the computer. The CPU asks, what next? Your program, living in main memory, gives it the next instruction. The CPU runs it, and the whole cycle repeats billions of times every second. Your job as a programmer is to write the script for that loop.
So how in the world do we write those instructions? We need a language, right? Something that both we can understand and the computer can understand. And that brings us to our friendly translator, the Python language.
So the name Python immediately makes you think of snakes, right? And there's this funny story where the author of this course was actually sorted into the Harry Potter house of Slytherin by his students. Why? Well, because as a Python teacher, he could talk to snakes.
But, and I love this part, here's the twist. Python, the programming language, wasn't named after a snake at all. It was actually named after the British comedy troupe Monty Python's Flying Circus. See, its creator wanted to build a language that wasn't just powerful, but was also kind of fun, and didn't take itself too seriously.
And that whole philosophy is really the secret to why Python is so popular today. It somehow manages to be easy enough for absolute beginners to pick up, powerful enough to be used for really complex stuff like AI, and, believe it or not, it's actually fun to use.
To really see that power, just imagine this problem. I give you a giant book and tell you to find the single most common word in it. For a human, that would be a nightmare, right? You'd be trying to keep a tally of every single word. It would take forever, and you'd probably make a mistake.
But for a computer, that's child's play. Now, don't worry about trying to understand what this code means right now. Just look at it. The point is, with just a few simple lines of instructions, you can tell a computer to read millions of words and spit out the answer in a matter of seconds. That's the incredible power we're learning to tap into.
All right, let's bring it all home. It is time to go from just talking about it to actually doing it, and see how you can start that conversation with your computer, like today.
And honestly, this is how simple it is to get started. First, you install Python. Then you open any basic text editor, nothing fancy. You write one single line of code, print, and then in parentheses, end quotes, hello world. You save that little file and you run it. And that's it. You've done it. You have officially written your first program and given the computer an instruction.
That first hello world is such a huge step. It's the moment you go from being just a user to being a creator. You've officially started a conversation with one of the most powerful tools humanity has ever invented. So, the only real question left is, what are you going to build next?